What would make a nation, once a leader in science and innovation, willingly jeopardize its future? Why would its leaders turn their backs on overwhelming evidence, ignore decades of progress, and risk the health and safety of their citizens? These aren't hypothetical questions. They're the troubling realities we face as we examine the actions of Donald Trump's administration. With a cabinet packed with individuals who deny climate science, prioritize profit over public health, and openly reject decades of scientific advancement, the United States is teetering on the edge of environmental and scientific regression. This dangerous trend isn't just about policy. It's about the lives, livelihoods, and legacy of every American citizen. In this video, we will explore how Trump's cabinet appointments and policy decisions signal a deliberate rollback of scientific progress. From appointing fossil fuel executives to critical environmental roles to undermining advancements in renewable energy and public health, these choices paint a bleak picture of the future. What's at stake is nothing less than the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the stability of the planet we call home. Let's break down the administration's actions, their potential consequences, and, most importantly, the question that looms over it all. Why? Main content. 1. The Cabinet of Climate Deniers. Donald Trump's cabinet appointments set the tone for his administration's approach to science and the environment. Chief among these is the nomination of individuals with long-standing ties to the fossil fuel industry and a history of climate change denial. For example, former ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson, initially appointed Secretary of State, came from an industry infamous for funding misinformation about climate science. Similarly, Rick Perry, appointed Secretary of Energy, previously called for the elimination of the very department he would oversee and dismissed the reality of human-induced climate change. These choices were no accident. By placing individuals with vested interests in fossil fuels in positions of power, Trump's administration effectively prioritized corporate profits over scientific consensus and public welfare. This deliberate sidelining of climate science extends beyond appointments. It's reflected in the administration's policies, from withdrawing from the Paris Agreement to slashing funding for renewable energy research. 2. Climate change denial at the highest levels. Donald Trump himself has consistently dismissed climate change as a hoax or, at best, an exaggerated concern. His infamous tweets claiming that global warming was invented by China to undermine American manufacturing reveal a fundamental misunderstanding or deliberate misrepresentation of the issue. This rhetoric has emboldened other climate change deniers within his administration to dismantle regulations designed to curb greenhouse gas emissions. One particularly troubling example is the rollback of the Clean Power Plan, an Obama-era policy aimed at reducing carbon emissions from power plants. This move not only undermines efforts to combat climate change, but also increases air pollution, posing a direct threat to public health. Trump's justification? He claims these measures burden businesses and harm the economy. But the truth is that renewable energy sectors like wind and solar have created thousands of jobs and represent a growing segment of the economy. 3. Environmental safeguards under siege. The Trump administration's war on science isn't limited to climate change. Environmental safeguards across the board have come under attack. From loosening restrictions on methane emissions to opening up public lands for oil and gas drilling, the administration's policies threaten to undo decades of progress in protecting the environment. For instance, the decision to allow drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge has been widely condemned by environmentalists and indigenous groups alike. This pristine wilderness, home to diverse ecosystems and endangered species, is now at risk of irreversible damage. The administration has also weakened the Endangered Species Act, making it easier for developers to encroach on critical habitats. 4. Public health in jeopardy. The rollback of environmental protections doesn't just harm the planet, it directly endangers human health. Increased air and water pollution, driven by deregulation, leads to higher rates of respiratory illnesses, cardiovascular diseases, and other health problems. By prioritizing fossil fuel interests over clean energy, the administration is exposing millions of Americans to harmful pollutants. One of the most alarming aspects of Trump's anti-science agenda is its stance on vaccines. During his presidency, Trump gave a platform to anti-vaccine rhetoric, casting doubt on the safety and efficacy of childhood immunizations. This baseless skepticism threatens to undermine decades of progress in eradicating diseases like polio and measles, putting public health at unnecessary risk. 5. Electric cars and fuel efficiency. Backward steps. Trump's disdain for electric vehicles, EVs, and fuel efficiency standards is another example of his administration's regressive policies. By rolling back fuel economy standards for gasoline-powered vehicles, the administration effectively encouraged automakers to produce less efficient cars, increasing greenhouse gas emissions and consumer costs. Trump's attacks on electric cars also ignore the growing demand for cleaner, more efficient transportation options. The EV market has the potential to revolutionize the auto industry, reduce reliance on fossil fuels, and mitigate climate change. Yet, the administration's policies actively hinder this progress, favoring outdated technologies over innovative solutions. 6. Why are they doing this? The most perplexing question is, why? Why would a government intentionally sabotage advancements that benefit public health, the environment, and the economy? The answer lies in a toxic combination of short-term thinking, corporate influence, and ideological rigidity. Fossil fuel companies have long wielded significant power in American politics, and their influence is evident in Trump's policy decisions. By prioritizing the interests of these industries, the administration has chosen profits over people. Moreover, the rejection of science often aligns with a broader political strategy to appeal to certain voter bases, even at the expense of national and global well-being. The Trump administration's assault on science and the environment is not just a political issue, it's a moral one. By denying climate change, dismantling environmental protections, and undermining public health initiatives, this administration has set the United States on a dangerous path toward environmental and scientific ruin. But it's not too late to change course. Public awareness and advocacy can push back against these destructive policies and demand accountability from leaders. The stakes are too high to remain silent. The air we breathe, the water we drink, and the future of our planet depend on it. As Americans, we must ask ourselves, what kind of legacy do we want to leave for future generations? Will we stand by as progress is undone, or will we fight to protect the advancements that have made our world safer, cleaner, and more sustainable? The choice is ours, and the time to act is now.